So the next questions are from Jeremy, RFI. Jeremy, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Very well. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for taking my questions. It seems that far younger people are being hospitalized in the US and in Europe than in China. I was wondering, how do you explain the discrepancy? And do you have concerns that the data that you got in the first place from China might not be as reliable as you thought? Thank you.
So this virus, this COVID-19 virus, is capable of causing infection and severe disease in all people of all ages. What we know from data across a number of countries, including data from China, including data from the US and Italy and Iran and Korea and Japan and others, is that this virus can cause mild disease, can cause moderate disease, which is described as people who still have pneumonia but don't need oxygen support, who can cause severe disease, can cause critical disease, and who can kill some people. Amongst children, the data that we've seen from a number of countries is that the majority of children that are infected are experiencing mild disease, but we do have reports, and there are some publications now that describe severe disease in children. We have reports of deaths in children. There's one in China, and I believe one in the United States as well. We do need more well-characterized descriptions of severity across the age groups so that we can better summarize what we know about this in the different age groups. Ideally, what we would like to see is the use of a clinical characterization protocol. This is another data capture platform that WHO has launched, which involves systematic data collection in terms of signs and symptoms, in terms of regular sampling of hospitalized patients so that we can better characterize the natural history of this disease in people who are in hospital. But there is data that's coming out from a number of countries, and we welcome the rigorous data collection that is occurring in very difficult situations in hospitals, whether this is clinical data or epidemiologic data across a number of countries.
Maybe could just add that we've been reporting for quite a while now on the spectrum of disease. There's no question that the elderly and those with underlying conditions have been affected much more than other age groups. But we've certainly spoken here before about the age profile of patients, the fact that in Korea, 20% of the deaths were people under 60 years of age. In Italy, the fact that up to 15% of people in intensive care were under 50 years of age. I think we'll find in Germany and other countries, up to 10 to 15% of people with disease, people under 50 who have disease, will have a moderate or severe infection. So they may not progress into critical condition, but 10 to 15% of people under 50 will have a moderate to severe infection. So this is not for most people is a very mild infection, most young people. But for a significant minority of people between the age of 20 and 60, this is a significant infection. And if you listen to people who are interviewed on the media, the one thing I've seen again and again and again from people, adults who've got this, and young adults, and they keep looking at the camera and saying, this is not flu. And I think what's really emerging is a perception that this disease, while not fatal and not causing critical disease in a younger age group, is causing a severe illness in many people.
I just wanted to add the point that we've made a few times is that young people are not invincible. The DG has said in his speech. And it's not just the disease that this virus will cause in people. Every infection of COVID-19 presents an opportunity for onward transmission. So even in younger populations, if you do have mild disease, and you think it's no big deal, what the big deal is that you may transmit to somebody else who may be part of that vulnerable population, who may advance to severe disease and who may die. So every single person has a role to play in this outbreak in preventing themselves from getting infected. And we've listed a number of ways in which you can do that, which involve hand hygiene and respiratory etiquette, physical distancing, adhering to the recommendations of the national governments, by following those rules, by adhering to that, you are preventing yourself from getting infected, and you're preventing the opportunity for onward transmission to someone who may be more vulnerable.